from Scrumptious Cakes by Faryal, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make beautiful sugar hydrangeas. So if you want to learn how to make them, keep watching. To make hydrangeas you need flour paste. I'm using Hydrangeas flour paste. You need hydrangea veiner and cutter. I'm using the cutter from the Cake Bits company. This is single petal cutter. And the veiner I'm using from Devil Wieners, and it comes 2 pieces like this. You need foam pad, ball tool, you need cell board. I'm going to be using the smallest vein on the cell board. You also need a rolling pin, florist tape, 24 gauge wire cut into 2.5 inch piece, .30 gauge wire. You need 4 of these cut into 2 inches pieces to make 1 flower. You also need some edible glue. I make it from tylose and some hot water. And I'll be using some cooking oil. Preferably you need TREX or CRISCO. I'm having difficulty finding TREX or CRISCO in the local shops. And you also need petal dust. I'm using Rollcom here. These are the shades I'm going to be using to make 2 different color hydrangeas, and you need brushes for each of them. Take the flour paste, knead until smooth and pliable, then use the rolling pin and roll it quite thin. You have to roll it really thin, because if you see the hydrangeas petals, they are quite thin and delicate. As you can see, my fingers, that's how thin it is. So I'm going to be using the vein here. Just put the petal cutter like this and move the cutter around. Take the 30 gauge wire, which we cut about 2 inches size. Dip the end in the edible glue. Remove the excess glue on your hand like this. Hold the petal between your finger, between your middle finger and thumb like this, and slowly push this wire into the vein, about 1/4 of the petal. You don't have to push all the way through up, just 1/3 or 1/4 is fine. Now I'm going to take the foam. Once the wire is pushed into the petal, as you can see, just pinch the end so it sticks well to the wire. Take the ball tool and thin down the edges of the petal. As you can see, what I'm doing is half of the ball tool is on the pad and half is on the petal edges, and slowly run around like this. You don't want them to be too frilly, you just want them to be nice and thin. Now take the veiner. I usually take this side at the back. I don't like it to be at the front of the petal. And vein your petal like this. Just press firmly so it leaves all the veins and imprints onto the petal like this. I forgot to mention a foam pad in my video. You need a foam pad where you can dry your petals. I'm using this one. It's not really deep, so it's giving me perfect petals for hydrangeas. Let the petals dry for a day or 2 until they are really firm. So to make the center, you need the thicker wire, a little bit of gum paste or flour paste, roll it like a ball, and then one side roll with your finger to make a teardrop shape like this. Dip one end in the glue, and we need to push this into the flour paste like this. Be very careful, you don't want the wire to come up at the top like this. And you need to let it dry before you assemble your flower. You can take a knife, but I will be using my cutter to make crisscross pattern on the top. I don't know if you can see it. And leave it to dry. So now we will be dusting the petals. Take this blue shade, which is ultramarine, and dust whole petal like this. So once you have done the front, do the back. So done. So once the blue one is done, I'm going to take this purple shade, and I'm just going to do the top pointy bit of the petal and the edges with this purple. Like this. Brush away all the excess, and this is how the petal is going to look. Do the same at the back. So here is my blue petal, all dusted. So I'm going to keep this aside, and I'm going to show you how to do the purple one. So for the purple one, I am going to be using this light purple mauve kind of shade, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dust it all with this color, and then doing the shading with the dark purple like this. Gently hold your petals, you don't want to break them, they're really delicate. So once you are done with the purple shade, the mauve shade, we're going to move to the dark purple. We're going to do the same thing. We will do the top pointy bit and the edges. And this part. Like this. Turn the back and do the same thing as you did at the front. I'm going to take some of the blue and just lightly dust like this, just to give a shade. We don't want it to be blue, but just a little shading. Like this. So each flower needs 4 petals. Dust all 4 petals and dust the center. So I have made 2 already. They're dried. So one I'm going to be using for the purple. So I'm going to be dusting the top purple. And the other one I will be using for blue. So I will be dusting it with the blue. Then I will take the dark purple shade and do the bottom, just to give a little shade like this. Dust the bottom of the bud with dark purple like this. So here I have all the petals dusted. Now I'm going to take the florist tape, just a little bit piece, stretch it to activate the glue, take the center and wrap it around like this, and then tightly wrap about twice. So once it's wrapped nicely, take the petals, hold between your fingers like this and push the wire a little bit down so you could add around the bud like this, and roll it. Roll the florist tape. Do the same thing, push the wire down, be very gentle, you don't want to break the petal. If you think you are heavy-handed, it's a good idea to make extra petals and do the opposite way, the other petal, then add the sides. Like this. Hold it in place, and you need to wrap the tape really tightly. You don't want it to be loose. The last petal on its place, like this. And wrap around tightly twice, and then slowly you need to bring the wire down, put it at the angle, and it will come down while you roll like this. Keep rolling between your finger, so your fingers make sure that the wire is sticking to the tape perfectly and tightly like this. Keep rolling it, and bring it down. Till the end, and just leave it like this. So here you have beautiful hydrangea flower. Here are some of the hydrangeas I have made already. Isn't it beautiful? I love them. I totally love them, and I love this color as well. So if you like this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.